Hello again, CO300. Welcome to week 12. This week we are going to be talking about conferences. I come to you with a London mug, as well as my Trippy Alice in Wonderland t-shirt. I hope that you're wearing some of your favorites, drinking some good beverages, and here we go. As promised, week 12, we are focused on conferences. This means that you will not have a discussion. Instead, you're responsible for reporting to your individual conference. I'll walk through how to do that, as well as our Sunday assignments, going through some genre conventions and making sure that you know what resources you should be using through this process. Again, as always, we have these objectives listed for you, and kind of honing in on our rhetorical goals for the week. For conferences, you have a few different options. You'll notice that whatever option you choose, I have the link at the top for you to sign up for those conferences. This is the same link that was in your week 11 Sunday assignments, so if you're already signed up, you are right on track. The next option, or the first option rather, is a Zoom meeting. This means that we will share a video call. This is the first option because it will let us share screens. It'll let me see what your website looks like. I can walk you through Canvas. We have a lot more options in being able to share our screens since we are preparing a digital project. If you prefer, if you don't have access to Zoom, to a webcam, to a laptop, whatever will work for that conference, we can also talk over the phone. That's the second option. This will let us speak in live time. For this, please don't post your phone number publicly. I'll communicate with you to make sure that I get a phone number for you, and then I'll give you a call during your conference time so that we can chat and make sure that we have everything all set. Like I said, if you don't post your phone number to that large discussion, I will be the only one with that information. So, phone call, whoops, crap. We're back. Phone call is the second option. Third, if you would like, this is kind of the last resort, I'm hoping. If you don't have access, if you have privacy concerns, if you're not willing to share information or sign up for a video conference, you could also sign up for a Canvas submission. This means that you'll kind of walk me through some of the different questions that I'll have for conferences in the Canvas submission. This will be asynchronous, so we don't have to schedule an appointment time, but I do need to know if you're signing up for that email submission instead. I'll walk through both of those in Canvas in just a moment. If you're looking to sign up for a conference, please click this link at the top. If you have clicked that link, that will take you to a Google sheet. So on the left, you'll see a number of conference times with the date and time, as well as a place for you to sign up. Thank you to those of you who already have, and outline how you would like to communicate. Like I said, please don't post your phone number. If you're one of those who prefers the Canvas conference, you can sign up for those here. That will be, like I said, just submission online. We will not talk over video. We will not talk on the phone. Whoop. There we go. If you're ready to join that conference or at your conference time, please click this link here. This will take you to Zoom. I have this posted in a few different places, but want to make sure that you know how to access that here. This is our conference sign-up sheet. In order to get full points for that conference, it is worth 10 points, those same 10 points that you usually earn for discussion. Full 10 points means that we have a good conversation for that 10 or 15 minutes. It's led by your questions, so you're in charge of this. I want to address what you need answered. Be ready to share your outline, share your drafting, share your website. At this point, you should have a domain. You should have a few pieces into that website as outlined on the week 11 assignments. So be ready to share those items. Same for the Canvas response, making sure that it's fully detailed in those prompts, that you have answered all the questions that I've asked. I have the full rubric breakdown in the Canvas assignment on Sunday assignments there if you're looking at what happens if you don't get 10 points. Again, I have your model websites linked for you here. I'm trying to push these just so that they're linked in as many places as possible, as accessible as they can be. So please feel free to check those out. And last, I want to talk about your letter of explanation. So in addition to the website, you have a chance to kind of perform a rhetorical analysis of your work. This is where you'll get to say, here's how and why I'm connecting with all of these different levels. We started this unit by drawing the rhetorical situation for your website, so your goal in this letter of explanation is to prove how and why your work is effective for your audience. I have a few examples of these that we'll look at later this week, but keep in mind as you're drafting your website. Why are you making the choices that you are? Why is this going to resonate with your audience? How are you appealing to them? Keeping notes on this could be really helpful and should help you when you get to this letter of explanation. One change in those requirements is that this letter is a 2-page maximum. It was 2 to 3 pages. Now we're looking at a 2-page max. So hopefully that helps as well. That brings us to the genre conventions. So at the top I have traditionally what websites do. In the middle I have what will do, and at the bottom I'll have what you might be used to from a traditional argument. So typically in a website, as you're looking at popular sources for instance, they're going to just include embedded links and they might credit their photos or graphs in a small caption. In a traditional argument, this is going to follow MLA or APA like some of your other traditional research papers. We're mixing the two. So we will have a tab on your website for the works cited or reference page. It's weird for a website, but that's what we're doing for CO300. We're able to use any font, any spacing, stylistically, you choose how to do this. You will still keep in-text citations according to MLA or APA for each source. And for us, our multimodals, we're going to address kind of in one go on that works cited or reference page and just have a note that says where you got your images. Again, you should be using those open source images, for instance, Flickr. And there's another one that I gave you, Pixabay, pick one of those. But in our reference page, you'll just need a quick note that says where you're getting your images. Same setup when we look at our content. Websites, we have our genre analysis that outlined how these websites are put together and what you're basing yours on. In a traditional argument, we started at an 8 to 10 page double-spaced paper. With our changes, we've now dropped this to 6 to 8 pages of equivalency. That does include the letter of explanation, so that's 2 of those pages. We're working on developing content in 2 content pages, and this is going to be supplemented by some of your other resources, like I said, the letter of explanation. So when you think about how we're drafting the content, we're meshing together what you found in your genre conventions with our traditional argument in these guidelines. In terms of structure or organization, we've talked about Rogerian and Toulmin models. In a traditional argument, you might have a paragraph that's a page long. Because website conventions are short, brief paragraphs with lots of multimodal elements, we're going to almost split the difference here. You can choose how to use those multimodal elements. That does include even the colors scheme that you choose in your font, and making sure that you do still have developed and thoughtful paragraphs, even if you do break these into much shorter, briefer paragraphs, more like a website model. Like I said, you shouldn't have one chunk of text on each content page. Instead, we want to make that look more like those website conventions that you found in your genre analysis. In synthesis, we do have, again, some synthesis in websites that we see in those links or the way that they connect ideas. In a traditional argument, you have multiple sources within the same paragraph. In our websites for CO300, we are going to draw connections between those. So you might have paragraphs with a single citation, but the way that they connect to the other examples should be clear in your website. You can explain how you're developing those connections and how you're synthesizing these ideas in the letter of explanation, showing how and why your paragraphs do function together, again, how and why your sources are supporting each other and building toward a similar idea. So keep that in mind. In terms of your audience, websites can be very broad, they could be very specific, they can follow a very large range. In traditional arguments, you might be more familiar with the term stakeholder or rhetorical audience like we've seen in some of our work. For us, you're going to identify your organization. You might identify your audience there as well. Hopefully your About page directly addresses who you're targeting and why they might be affected, and you'll definitely do this more explicitly in the letter of explanation. Sentences in your letter of explanation like, my audience of teachers will be successfully persuaded by my purpose of encouraging donations, getting whatever you decide your purpose is, you can use that kind of direct and explicit language, showing off your rhetorical vocabulary. So either way, audience is a very central part of this paper. Purpose, again, same idea. Websites can range. In a traditional argument, you have a very identifiable thesis. In our website, I've given you a couple different ideas for how we provide advocacy, how we demonstrate this in our websites. I gave you some specific language, for instance, to engage, to educate, or to persuade. Sorry. So you might still have some of those ideas as well. In your, again, letter of explanation, you can identify specifically what this is and how you're achieving that purpose. Still, in your home page and your about page might be a place to address your purpose more specifically. Again, I hope that your resources make this project easier, not harder. In the left-hand column, I have a lot of the different activities that we've worked on. In the right-hand column, I have all the things that you're going to be drafting. So, for example, you have your citations from P2 with feedback on those. Those should plug right into your Works Cited page. Number 2, the genre analysis should help you develop the structure and your letter of explanation. You could cite your genre analysis in that letter. You might come up with additional resources and how you want to use multimodals. Again, 3 matches up with 3, 4 matches up with 4, and so on. So again, just drawing more specific connections on how these all link to your final goals. Sorry, this is left over from last semester. Instead of doing a discussion post, Forum 3 on your thesis, you have our course discussions from weeks 10 and 11. Excuse me, weeks 9 and 10. Sorry. Okay. Like I said, your final assignments are for week 12, just the Sunday assignments. The other 10 points will come from our conference this week. So check out your Sunday assignments. Have a lovely week, and I will look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care, everybody.